The Wood-elf A-team have come to the cold, frozen woods to do away with a group of hairy, beardy invaders. It's Wood-elves versus Dwarves. This is Benvolio leading the Wood-elf A-team against a big Dwarven army. He's gone wide, I've gone slim. So over here, he's got his army parked underneath this far stand of trees. This is what I've got to deal with. He's got, in this back line, he's got, let's take a look, three groups of cannon, Dwarven Great Cannon, able to fire off against anti-large troops, doing armor-piercing damage as well, I believe. A back line of miners with blasting charges, as well as a group of miners with blasting charges on each flank. Let's take a look at these guys. Look at them. They're small, but they'll hurt you. They got hammers, and they can throw exploding satchels at you. At oncoming troops, they will huck exploding satchels of black powder, I guess, blow you up. He's got a front line of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of standard Dwarven warriors, so very low tier, but they're dwarves, so they're really going to be still pretty good value for that. But that's the lowest tier melee unit. He's got a group of Thunderers, dwarves with little guns. Look at their little guns in their little hands. And they're going to shoot, doing armor-piercing damage with that, I think. Very nasty gunfire, basically. They can fire in a straight line, so you don't want to be coming at them headlong. He's got, again, the cannons in the back. In front of them, groups of Quarrelers with great weapons. How many? So, 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, 5. And these are crossbow units, able to fire in an arc, but also with great weapons. That means they have big axes on their backs that they will pull out and engage with in melee combat. So let's take a quick look at my army, which is already taking fire from the cannons. But starting over on my far right flank, got a group of wild riders with shields, so spears, shields, riding deer. I'm going to use those to get around his flanks, get in behind, and deal with his artillery. That's going to be their main focus, and to split his army, to pull his army away, and to help divide into smaller pieces. I've got a group of war dancers with Azrai spears chilling out in the woods here for the moment. Double-ended spears, crazy hippie chicks, armor-piercing damage, which is good against dwarves. That's what you want. I believe they're armor-piercing anyway. There's treekin, big, monstrous infantry, half man, half tree. His dad was a tree! But they're good at causing terror, and they're also, I find they're really sturdy, so they can take a lot of abuse in the right situations, and they'll last the whole game just swinging and clubbing and dishing out damage and causing terror. Behind them, I've got a group of Eternal Guards coming up behind them. Over in the woods, don't want to miss these guys. I got the real A-team, the elites here, the Way Watchers. Great range armor-piercing missiles. You always want armor-piercing versus dwarves, able to fire away at his warriors from a great long way while heading in the woods. Eternal Guard, as I was saying, very basic infantry, spears and shields. Nothing too special. Got one group advancing to the lake, not good. Being led by a Glade Lord on foot over here with a bow and arrow. Gonna shoot in as well, shoot in like the Way Watchers against his lord, try and snipe him, I guess. In the back, and I forget them here for most of the time, is a group of Glade Guard with Hagbane tips, so poison arrows, poison archers. Forget to pull them in. I could have pulled them in right from the beginning. Game would have been a lot shorter. silly, but you'll see they come out in the late game anyway. They don't get forgotten entirely. Probably would have lost if I did. I've got the Waystalker, a hero unit, kind of an assassin type hero. Decent hybrid weapon specialist, so he's got knives and a bow. He's basically Legolas. Yeah, basically. He's going to be sniping hero units and engaging with heroes in melee type of units anyway. I got another group of war dancers with Azrai spears, double-headed spears. Let's get a bit of kind of closer look at them. Tattooed elven warrior maidens, hippie chicks. Yeah, the hippies, and more dancers, but with double swords, so just lacking the same anti-large advantage that the spear gives. And over here, far again, I have another group of wild riders with spears and shields on this flank, and another group of Way Watchers with those armor-piercing missiles. So let's get things going here. So his cannon's already firing across, doing damage against these Eternal Guard and my treekin. Gonna get a lot of time to shoot away with that, which is not great. So I'm trying to close in on the flanks fairly as quickly as I can. The thing is, you want to kind of bring both sides together. You want to bring the melee fight and the cavalry charges at about the same time. So I kind of have to hang back, because just one without the other to help distract the enemy is not as effective. You want to always try and be doing both at once. So getting the infantry into position is something he's going to be able to take advantage of. I am trying a hit and run as my infantry closes on the right flank. I'm going to try and hit his miners who are going to use those blasting charges against my deer. Oh, ouch! And charging into those miners, but they were braced, I guess, or something, because the charge is not very effective, so I wheel out as my treekin are now approaching on my right flank into his left flank. Here come the treekin. Those little dwarves, they're singing, they're not too scared. Well, they will be. Bam! So, gonna send a few of those guys flying with my treekin, and the Azrai Spear Dancers coming in as well. I believe I've cycle charged as well. Snuck around into his Thunderers with the Wild Riders. The Wild Riders on this side also charging in, and the Azrais with swords charging in on this flank. But his army is so wide, I cannot engage all of it at once. He's just brought such a big, wide army, so many low-tier units that I'm just kind of swarmed by short beardies. So I'm trying to use the Wild Riders to get into his back line here. I've gotten in, managed to get in against his Thunderers, which is great. Want to take out his ranged units to kind of eliminate any advantage he has in that way. They're not going to be effective at dealing with the Wild Riders who close with them. Cavalry, as always, good against range. Also want to make sure those Gannons are getting decommissioned because they're going to be doing nasty amounts of damage. The Treekin coming in against the Dwarf Warriors still doing really well. But the Treekin getting choppy-choppied, and the War Dancers doing okay for now, but they gotta last for a while. That's the problem. Quarreler is trying to forward up, plug the hole left by the miners. No, so the miners are getting back his position, so he's good. He's really consistent with that, and he's keeping his flanks covered. I liked his army. He was very he played it well like that. Kept his formation quite well, and he chose a good formation. My Wild Riders are trying to annoy these miners and ranged units as much as possible, but there's only so much I can do because I've got to micro them around a lot. So they're engaging with the ranged units, which is ideal, trying to bring them out of the fight, but the melee units, if they're pinned down, the cavalry's not going to do so well. So of course I'm trying to cycle around with them as much as possible while I still have them, while their morale's still good. So they're two groups. They've taken a lot of abuse, though. They've done really well, but they've pulled those units away, the miners and other units, away from the fronts. That gives my frontline troops a bit of a breather to kind of pile in the damage more. My Glade Guard's still back there, but my Way Watchers have been successfully firing in from the eaves of the woods, I believe. Are not? They're not firing. That's not good. These guys are firing. They should be firing soon, but these guys are firing, which is good. Finishing off those Quarrelers with great weapons. Don't know why I'm firing at them. Should have been firing at something over here, but these guys will start firing, and then that'll start amplifying the damage, because they were key. And these guys are they just really? Are you really just standing here? Some A-team. Or they're just chilling out. I don't know. Even as my Treekin are running away now. I guess I forgot to bring that group of Way Watchers in, as well as the Archers. So it's like, we need the Archers. Where are the Archers? You jerk! Leaving the infantry to fight, and the Wild Riders to do everything, which was, well, looking back now, what the heck? That makes me so mad. This A-team could have been melching this Dwarven army so much faster. It wouldn't have been such a struggle. So the Glade Lord coming in, starting to fire in. Because this game goes into the late game. I managed to crack his front line, but then it becomes this dirty, messy, crawling through the muck, trying to gouge out each other's eyes little battle here. It's very, this is where it starts to get just, to be a bit of a drag of a game, which is why I'd had those Way Watchers firing earlier, because like it would have helped just end this faster. So now we start a real drag, where my infantry are getting to the ends of their strength now. His infantry is largely to the end of its strength. Well, getting there. A little bit more to go, sorry. My Azrai with swords my War Dancers swords are not having a good time. The Wild Riders are basically depleted. And the War Dancers over here are almost done for, taking on too much abuse. The Eternal Guard aren't going to do too well. The War Dancers, the Spears over here, doing decently, having held out for a long time. This Eternal Guard chasing off this group, got to bring them in. And now, finally, I think I've got the Way Watchers firing in. Are you firing in? Yes, there we go. Where are they firing at? Where are they firing at? Here they goes. At these Quarrelers. That's a good target for them, actually. While that group's isolated, they'll be just open, and they don't really have shields. So they're really, I'm going to be able to rake them down quite nicely. With those, look at the damage those arrows are doing. Just wacky, wacky, wacky. All the models go in here. They're coming in as the volley. Another volley. Ah, what the heck is going on? Oh, Eternal Guard coming in here, last little group. But the fight is still... No, well, I've crumbled on my left flank. Got the Way Watchers and the Way Stalker firing in, but a group of Dwarves are over here for some reason, and I finally brought in my Glade Guard with poison arrows to shoot into the back of them, which is great. Good. Move away from me, because I'm able to shoot into the back of you. He's still got groups of cannons that have not broken. I haven't quite gotten to the cannons, but they're gonna be, their effect is gonna be, it's gonna be difficult for him to choose a target, because wherever he aims, he's gonna, if I move, he's gonna have to re-aim, and it's just never gonna get any firing off. So it's gonna be trickier for him to use the cannons in such a kind of a crazy battle. The War Dancers have come back in, but they're on their last legs, come against the Dwarven Warriors. Sorry, yeah, Dwarven Warriors. But looks like my Way Watchers are joining in to the melee, having run out of arrows, I guess. They do some pretty cool stuff as they do that. So here we go. They're firing and they're firing and they're firing in. My Glade Lord is engaged in melee combat somehow. I guess because he ran out of ammunition. I don't know, but he's surrounded by stunties. Taking a beating. Not good. And Glade Guard firing in. Yep, that's good. All against the cannon, which is probably not so ideal. But the Way Watchers gotten their knives out, gonna charge. Yep, doing some kick flips and slides. Oh, right into the line. So these are like the elite A-team Legolas, Legolas elves coming to finish the fight. It's didn't need to be this way. It just got really unnecessarily dragged out. Ugly, just tooth and nail now, and it drags. This is the kind of game you want to avoid by bringing all your units and making sure you're firing all your units so that it doesn't turn into this. Because this just drags on. Let's see what happens. Alright, let's fast forward through this. Firing, firing, firing. Just arc, arc, arc. It's like P firing in a great arc. Yeah, so these guys are going to rally, come back in. The Waystalker is brought into melee combat, and he's going to do decently. He's kind of a hero unit, so he's going to push away those miners fairly easily. The cannons are getting activated, getting fired. I don't know who they're getting. Yeah, they're firing at the archers. I don't believe it. And the archers are firing at a cannon. What a ridiculous waste of shot. The cannon, I should have been firing at his infantry instead of his cannon. That also would have helped. The other group of Way Watchers now ran out of ammunition coming in. The Glade Guard who routed off this way is getting chased off by the Dwarven Lord. I think he gets shot at. I think the cannon gets a shot off at him. The freaking cannon. That one guy. And that's it. He's like, I'm not having any more of this. I think he shatters. No? Is he going to come? He's gone. He's running right away. Oh, no, he's coming back. He's ran off far enough. He's like, I'm not scared anymore. He's come back in. My hero unit still being a hero. A-team still outnumbered. He's just whooping butt. Outnumbered elves just coming in and be like, finish the thing. Yeah, with archers. Let's see. And now they've all piled on my lord, and they're just... The lord, sorry, his lord, and his lord's completely isolated. But it's just all these archer units that aren't supposed to, and he's able to chase out the hero. He's chasing them away. Just one, because they're all terribly ineffective against him, because their melee is terrible. My lord had died there. And killed him. What's going on back here? Have I got a group of Eternal Guard coming back in? But it's just his lord, and my hero, and my archers, and one small group of spears. Everything else in his army is finally routed, from the Way Watchers and the Way Stalker and the final archery coming in and finally just beating his lord into submission. The stubborn guy. This did not have to go this way, but I made some bad choices in terms of deploying my troops and using my troops, and it dragged out into a long, nasty, horrible struggle against cannons. Whatever. Wood-elf A-team. They're still the A-team. Let's check the kills. They're still the A-team. Alright, so... A treekin. My dad's a tree! And they got one kill. Oh my god. Against... That's embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Thing is, I won, but I could have won so much more effectively. And he did, but he, to his credit, Gabriel did pretty well. His group of Thunders, one kill. But really different armies. He did really wide builds, so a lot more troops, a lot more spread out. Kind of keeping all bases covered. I did like a smaller army with more with tougher elite infantry, the war dancers, and the elite archers, and the cavalry. So it was kind of a weird matchup. He outnumbered me, but I could outmaneuver him, and it was a long and drawn out affair. It's important to like bring all your units and engage all your units, and don't leave them sitting behind. Anyway, that's another one for the boys back home. This is Benvolio. Keep it real.